Hive recruits more Inhumans to his cause. If you consider sending out a semi-parasitic organism to create an addictive response towards you, recruitment. Lincoln puts on a murder vest, and we gotta take it down a notch. For a little FitzSimmons action. Oh yeah. Gonna have a little nerd seduction talk. That making love to you is like crossing the event horizon. It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, Season 3, Episode 18. The Singularity. The Singularity. Yeah. All right, welcome to Dee's reviews of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Spoilers ahead, just so you've been warned. All right, and we are continuing our big rush towards the season finale, the big buildup of Hive and the vision that Daisy had that someone is going to die. But we find out here at the beginning of the episode really a little bit more on how Hive works. And it's not so much of a mind control work per se, but really more of an addictive response. Basically, when he sends out all of his little tendril bits and stuff, it is getting into the mind, it is stimulating the pleasure center, so it is creating sort of an addictive response to him. Hive is the drug, and his followers are the addicts. They will do anything for him to continue this sort of feel. But maybe not anything. There does seem to be a limit, and really this is reflected back to the fact that Daisy could have destroyed the S.H.I.E.L.D. base and killed everyone in it last week. But she didn't. She escaped, she covered her tracks, she inhibited them from following her, but she did not kill them. So why Hive would want to spare S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't really seem to make any sense. So this might be some sort of internal response from Daisy. And I think there's a little bit of a hint that's given further on when Daisy and Hive are speaking on the overlook for Los Angeles. When she slips about the whole, yeah, you knew me as Sky, or Ward knew me as Sky, but I changed my name to Daisy, and sort of almost falls into that big discussion of her family. But she hesitates. And then just sort of continues on with this really quick, oh yeah, I ran into my dad and he was promising a family thing, but it all ended badly, and just sort of pushed past that. At no point does she bring up Zhang, her mom, nor the Inhuman sanctuary up in the Chinese mountains. So I think in some ways she is holding back on information. Yes, she is in love with Hive in a way, because again, stimulating the pleasure center is the way that is work. I think that's more of how that response is really working. It's that sort of love, obligation, we are part of a family, part of one type mental mindset that it puts you in, but not a complete control. There does seem to be a small amount, at least a certain amount of control that lays within the person. So hopefully I think this might be something that might start to deal up when we figure out how to defeat Hive, how to overcome his influence, and maybe how to resist what's going on. And one thing that Hive is doing a really good job at is being creepy. There's definitely this sort of Sith Lord, Emperor Palpatine feeling that's coming off of him. Whenever he mentions the fact that, oh, we are one, you're with us now. It's just the way he does it. I mean, Brett Dalton is really carrying on, and I think a great character here is that calm, quiet, in control, not worried about anything at all attitude towards, and that really just gives that extra level of creepiness to Hive. But he doesn't really seem to be set on this all-out murder spree. Again, especially when he encounters Gemma later on, and just in a moment wipes that one guy out, just shreds him down to the bone. You can really see that this is a very dangerous individual, not just the control of the Inhumans, but even all by himself. He is a force to be reckoned with. But he is not out just cutting a swath. When they do go into the club, he doesn't go in and kill everyone. I mean, he has his Inhumans, we got James, who we'll hit on in just a moment, working in for him and causing those issues, making a big mess. But Hive himself, not so much in the order to kill everyone. And I'm not sure if that is something that is coming from Daisy or his recruits that maybe don't necessarily want to do that. How much does he need them? If he violates what they want, is that going to lessen his control? I'm just sort of curious where this is all coming from, and I think it's something to pay attention for the next couple of episodes, is to see how much his wants and needs are reflecting to those Inhumans that he needs to serve that are close to him. By crossing those lines, will it negatively affect his control on them? And speaking of James, James finally gets his Inhuman powers and becomes... well, he's not sure yet, and I think that's sort of a fun thing, is he's playing around with code names for himself. Scorch was one that he had thrown out earlier, but that was the Chinese magician way back in season 1 who got the extremist powers. He was Scorch. No, James here is Hellfire. Actually, from the comics, another one of the Secret Warriors recruited by Nick Fury. But in that, he's not an Inhuman. He's actually a descendant of the Phantom Rider and is able to wield the Hellfire, whole backstory that's going on with there. But in here, we're going to make him an Inhuman, keeps him nice, could eventually come back and work with S.H.I.E.L.D. We don't know. His character's a little unstable as it is. Not that everybody isn't. Lincoln. But again, here, an Inhuman recruited to the cause. And there's another interesting note on Hive is how much of control and calmness that work, that interaction with him does do. Because when James first turns and busts out of his little cocoon there, he's completely unstable, has no idea how to control his powers. But one little shot from Hive just calms him down and now is able to control things. So, some benefits of your interaction with Hive, though again, that sort of mind control, addiction, personality thing, not a big plus either. And of course, they had gone to James to get the rest of the device. We had the orb, the Kree orb, but apparently there was more to it. Thought there was just a little piece missing, but when they dug that up, that was looking like more like a backpack, more like a giant thing that the little thing goes and fits into, as opposed to the other way around, which I thought was kind of odd. I'm not sure what this device does. By the time we get to the end and we've got John Hannah, we're in the town, and he throws out that line is, I want to recreate the experiment that made me. I'm assuming that's what the device is for. However, the line of, it's the only thing that can kill me, kind of annoyed me. One, why do you say that? I guess these people are under your control, so it's not like you have anything to fear from it. But coming across the only thing that can kill us, effectively still really early on, and it just sort of delivered to, I just think was overly simple. Usually something like this is what you've got to go and do a whole big journey and search for, and, you know, that's sort of its own adventure. Here, just sort of being plopped into it, and it being the only thing that can kill him. I know we're getting towards the end, and maybe by the end of it, they need to defeat Hive completely. I don't know, I would rather have Brett around for a little while and defeat his plan, but then have him come back next season. I mean, just once you take care of Hive, that's it for Brett Dalton. I don't think there's anything more you can do to continue that body moving along. He was S.H.I.E.L.D, and then he was Hydra, and he was evil, and then he was killed, and now he's come back. I don't see where else that he could go with this. So I would like to keep a bad guy around for a little longer than maybe just a season, you know, really extend out the arc if it's done properly. But I just finding the thing that can defeat him effectively kind of early into this whole search for me just seems a little much. And speaking of Lincoln, he's going through a nice little arc. Definitely not doing well without Daisy by his side. Daisy is definitely a calming influence. And this is kind of a more interesting story for his ability to lose control, how he needs sort of a stabilizing character in his life. When we last ran into James, and James told the story of Lincoln drinking and getting in a car accident with his girlfriend who almost got killed, that seemed to be the big story, is that he can make mistakes. This, I think, works it in a little bit better, is that he has a little lack of control. That without a stabilizing force in his life, whether it be Zhang, the Inhuman little community that he was working with, or Daisy in his life, he needs some sort of stabilizing factor or he is too easy to lose control. Which is why Coulson gives him the murder vest, which is really out there. I mean, I understand where Coulson is coming from, but that's really kind of an extreme response. And even May sees that, which is a big one. However, through that, Coulson is also telling Lincoln that he does need him, which I think is an important step. Yeah, he can't totally trust him, and with Hive out there, if he runs into him, it's too easy to lose control, and that could create a big liability for S.H.I.E.L.D. and increase the dangers for everyone. Because again, as far as they're seeing with Hive, he is more than happy to kill, and that has been his actions when he was with Hydra. Now that he's with Daisy, doesn't really seem to be so focused on killing as into just getting his goal. But they don't know that right now. So the only point that Coulson come up with is, hey, I have to have some way of stopping you if you turn. And of course, icers don't work. Another little thing about the stimulating of the pleasure centers in the brain is that keeps people going. So the icers don't work, which sort of gets that bigger risk, that the bigger stakes for S.H.I.E.L.D. is now their non-lethal weapons don't work. So the only choices they have to stop is to be going lethal. And this, of course, puts May in a really rough spot. Who does not like it at all? Really throws it down for Coulson. I do not want to just be the person, I'm going to take orders, she says, I'm not going to take orders from you. I'm going to do what you tell me to do, but don't fool yourself. This doesn't keep your hands clean. I don't want to be just your trigger person. So a great little dynamic there. And Lincoln gets in a great dig at Coulson and May too, with the whole substitute family thing. That if he is killed, then they can save Daisy, and then you'll have the whole messed up little family thing of the surrogate father Phil and the surrogate mother May and the little surrogate child Daisy. Which, there is that little reflection between May and Coulson about that he's not her father, but even Phil says right there, yeah, but she is the closest thing I have to a daughter. Really showing this family dynamic, which is interesting because we've got the family dynamic happening over on Hive's side, and we've got the family dynamic happening over at S.H.I.E.L.D.'s side. So really interesting interplay going on right there. But of course, the kind of big moment for most of the fans is the final FitzSimmons connection, and I think they played that really well through the episode, where they're acknowledging, okay, we're going to get together, this is going to be a thing, and you have that little talk in the beginning, especially seeing Fitz on his own. He's very nervous, he is very unsure of himself, and that's signified with the conversation that he has with with Simmons in the very beginning, where he's like, oh, and I think if we're going to make this step, it could change things, and Simmons is just, oh, when we have sex. And Fitz just turns and walks away. That was, yeah, that's right, and leaves. Fitz, on his own, out there in the world, little lab Fitz, shall we say, a little unsure himself. Agent Fitz, totally different. Once he gets into the mission, Fitz is the smoothest character out there. Even beforehand, I did love the little bits between when FitzSimmons sort of took down Mac. Mac made the comment about them wearing lab coats, and they just beautifully just sort of pieced them apart right there. That was wonderful. But again, once Simmons gets into once Fitz gets into agent mode, he is just totally smooth. Puts on the glasses when they go into the club. He's talking smooth. He's tough. He knows exactly what to say. That persona of his is just, it's wonderful to see, especially if we, again, look back at season 1 where he came, that first little field mission where he had to go with Ward, yeah, at the end he had stepped up with it, but still very nervous, very unsure of himself. But that whole pursuit of Simmons, as we saw, the very first episode where he was going over to the Middle East and he was trying to get that piece and information about the monolith. Just super smooth, very focused there. When he's got a mission, when he's got Simmons by his side, he is the man. And it's just, I love to see those character arcs. And also even seeing Simmons sort of comfort in it all and just, oh, well, this is how it's going to be. That singularity line. You mean this is like crossing the event horizon into a black hole? How very sweet. I mean, they really are perfect together. Like Max says, this isn't a new thing. This has been happening quite some time. It's just now everybody is catching up. The Cyborg Club, very cool, and really ultimately wonderful to see Mr. John Hannah appear. I just love that. Great introduction, being stabbed in the eye. That was beautiful. And sort of the way that Hive works, there is kind of a whole mummy thing that goes on. So just that reflection back I thought was kind of fun. But to me, really the more interesting point is when Hive and Daisy do show up, that reluctance to kill. I mean, we can see from Daisy's standpoint that she wants to threaten Fitz, okay? She is under the influence of Hive, and Hive wants to be left alone to do whatever it is that he wants. So Daisy doesn't necessarily want to have to kill Fitz. I think there's still that internal conflict that's going on. So that made a lot of sense. What I found interesting was Hive's play with Gemma. Now, by killing Gemma, would that upset Daisy and would that cause some reaction in with the mind control? I don't know. Is that part of Will inside of him, and even maybe a little bit of Ward inside of him that doesn't want to kill Simmons, still cares about her to a significant sense. I just found that was sort of really interesting interplay of, yeah, they're good character moments, but why? Why are they not being killed? I mean, I love them, I don't want them dead. But what is the character's motivation for not doing that? Gemma's motivation, on the other hand, Gemma promised to kill Ward a long time ago. And since this certainly isn't Will inside of him, she had no problem plugging him in the gut. May had said, when you feel it in your gut. Well, she felt it in her gut, and then he felt it in his gut. Oh, and then finally, just a couple little things. Phil Coulson finally has his Captain America shield, which I thought was perfect. It's perfect for his character, it's perfect for him. It was just a wonderful little bit. And the line of, that the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. should have a shield? Yeah, you want to be Captain America. This is your little opportunity to have that moment. And it was very reflective of Winter Soldier when Cap grabbed Black Widow and threw her down the hole when they were in the underground bunker that got hit with the missile. That was perfect. He was down there protecting her, so now we have the exact same thing. May gets thrown in with Coulson on top, and he's got his Captain America shield protecting them from the fallout of the explosion. I just thought that was a perfect kind of little overlay, especially since we've got Civil War coming out next week. Oh, and of course, by the way, Hydra's been defeated. Which was kind of a big deal. That was sort of a little throwaway, and I'm assuming it was intended to be that way for one reason or another. But from the beginning, we had Talbot trying to get a hold of Coulson, and then we find out is the intelligence that Malik had delivered. So yeah, there was a lot more talk and stuff that had happened before Malik did get taken out that we didn't see. But he gave very, very actionable intelligence. Apparently the last vestiges of Hydra, their locations, their strength. So Coulson sent in Talbot and the rest of the ATCU, and they are, by the end of the episode, wiped out. As they said, the head has been cut off. Cut off one head, two more grow in its place. But what this really signifies is that Hydra is gone. And even Phil's little line of, yeah, this should have been a great moment, and was really kind of a throwaway moment. You'd almost would have missed it if you'd ran out to pee or grab a sandwich, in 2 seconds. You would have missed that entire whole sequence. So I think this is another part of the interplay that is leading up for Civil War. maybe the thought that Hydra has been defeated, and then it pops its head back up again as it's wont to do. Anyway, I guess that's it. Hydra's gone. And the only thing left then is Hive. And Hive does have control of Malik's millions, billions, all of his money and resources. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that plays out. And that is it for this week. Again, only a few episodes left. We have next week. Right after next week's episode, Civil War comes out, and then there are 2 more weeks. The following Tuesday, the 10th, and then the following week, the 17th, there are 2 episodes back-to-back, a big 2-hour season finale where we find out who is going to die. And honestly, I think that's starting to get played out a little bit. There are too many other shows where they just take people out without sort of big build-up, and now it's like this whole 5-episode bit is, there's one person that's going to die. Okay, is it going to be someone important? Are they going to bring it back? You know, who are we going to lose? Yes, we're all thinking about it, but just that build-up. I think there should be great, bigger stakes going on with Hive potentially building a giant Inhuman army to attack the world and to take over the planet. Little more concern with that than, hey, maybe during that one person will die. I love the whole cast. I don't want to see anybody go. I'm just saying I think they're building that up just a little too much. And that is it for the week. Please press like if you did enjoy this review. Feel free to subscribe. Come back every week as we finish this up, and we've got more reviews also of Fear the Walking Dead and Game of Thrones going on. You can check that out. Comment in the section below. What do you think? What's going on with Hive? What is his motivation here? Why isn't he cutting a big swath of death in front of him? Is he afraid that if he goes too far, maybe the people under his control will rebel? I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll talk about it. I also want to throw out just a quick shout out to Daniel Ichidan Burnell. One of my early subscribers, comments a lot on these episodes. Just want to give you a big shout out and thanks for everything that you're doing. And I'm going to keep doing that for all of you as we go on. So keep up the comments, means a lot to me, and I will give you thanks right here. So that's it for us. Well, hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Very exciting. We've got, again, Civil War coming up next week. Big rush towards the end. Very, very exciting. Hope that you come back and join us for all of those. And that's it. I'm D. You can catch me on Twitter. I'm at Darren Jakes. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Take it easy. Bye-bye.